Hi guys, this is Faisal from True Social Flow. Today we're here in a rainy Trafalgar Square and it's a bit cold, a bit miserable, but I think it's quite nice to still try to put something out there. It doesn't need to be perfect, and the one thing I wanted to talk about today is the idea of clinging and attachment. And that could be, like, I mean, the most obvious case would be in a relationship, but it's in other areas of life as well. And I've seen, I mean, for example, like a big one is religion. And I've just gone into a massive area here, but I just think religion is one of those things where it's about clinging on to life. You want life so bad, you think of this afterlife. You just want it so bad, you want it too bad. And that ironically stops you from living life properly and enjoying it. I found that in my experience, you know, letting go of all of that and thinking there is nothing else after that. This is it. Lets you really like not give a fuck and do whatever you want to do. And that's an example of detachment. That's saying, look, I let go. I can't do anything. This is all gonna end, and let's not take it too seriously. Well, that lets me express myself without filters and do what I want to do. Similarly, in a less deeper topic, that is probably something most people can understand, is in a relationship. As soon as you start clinging, as soon as you start fearing that things are going to end, you've lost it. You can't enjoy that anymore. You're too busy trying to figure out how to keep this thing going. You're under constant surveillance. You're fearful it's going to go. Now you're too busy doing that, and you're not enjoying what the relationship is. It's what it's all about. And the real pleasure is in not doing any of that and letting things be, and having no effort in making things persist. It has a life of its own. Let it do what it wants. That's the pleasure. You get stuff from not trying to get it. So for me, it's been really important to be focusing on that kind of stuff when I'm in a relationship. That's when it's beautiful and worth being in. In a job, you can't be fearful of losing your job. You can't be fearful of behaving in a certain way, or you get fired, or you won't progress. That's no way to enjoy something that's a huge part of your life. You want to be able to tell people exactly how you feel. You want to do it tactfully. You don't go on, I don't know, destroy relationships in your job and piss people off, but you want to be able to express yourself. You don't want to be worrying that you're going to lose that job. You want to be able to output things. You want to grow in your job. You want to deliver value in your job. That's what you want to be focused on. You don't want to be focused on a defensive, oh, I'm going to lose it. No, that's not how you do things. So there's just a few like fundamental areas that I have noticed where attachment creeps in, but I'm sure there's like countless other areas that you can think of. But in general, it's always the same thing. It's always this too fearful it's going to go, too much trying to control, when you actually realize that's not what you want. You don't want that. You're looking at the wrong target. It's not what you want. You want things to happen without effort. So I hope that's of use in some way, like maybe you can apply it to your life. And for me it's liberating to know that there's not much I have to do. So if you enjoy that, please like and subscribe, and there'll be plenty more of this kind of stuff coming up.
Okay, so you spoke about detachment, but for the people watching, how can they create a level of detachment in their life? Like, what can they do today to try to become more detached, like you said?
You focus on things you can control, and that's yourself, how you behave. In the relationship example, if you want to be detached in a relationship, for instance, you look at your own behavior. Am I living according to my own values? And if you can control that, for example, am I being honest? Am I being assertive to my needs? If I've done those things, if I've checked those things off, those are things that are under my control, and after that I can let go of the rest of it, because that's not my problem. That's detachment. That's saying, I've done all I could, now I leave it to the external. Do you have another specific situation that you can think of?
I'm thinking of relationships. You were speaking about relationships, because I guess a lot of people find it difficult to act rationally in that kind of situation.
Yeah. So you always want to bring it down to your behavior. You don't want to then, what people who are clingy or too attached to, they change their own behavior in order to try to keep this thing going, and that's a fundamental betrayal. This is not what you want. So in that situation, you want to bring it back to me. You look at yourself. Am I doing something I'm proud to do? Am I living life according to my values? That's something you can do. That's something you can always do. No one can stop you from doing that, right? So if you do that, then you can let go of the rest.